Hey, welcome back. It's the Movie Club with Friends, the weekly show here on the Neon Nightcast channel. This week was Lady Bird, which was a Garrett pick. So why don't you explain why, and then tell us how you liked it.
I think I explained kind of why I picked it whenever I picked it 2 weeks ago. But yeah, it it was nominated for Picture of the Year in I guess it came out in 2017. So I'm assuming it's 2017 when it was nominated for that. And that's when I heard about it. And then one day I was browsing Amazon videos. Please sponsor us.
Yep.
And it popped up, and I was just like, oh, you know what? And I'll just watch it and see what I think. And whenever I watched it, I thought it was, just a nice coming of age story about, just a girl and her family who battles with her mother constantly, but, knows that her mother still, cares for her, even though, they have all these fights about things. So, but
fights about things.
Things and
stuff
and things.
They fight about where Lady Bird's going to college and all that stuff. Her mom, might think she knows what's best for her, but Lady Bird has different plans, and they fight about a lot of that.
Do they fight about really anything else though? I'm trying to think right now.
The mom's very nitpicky on her. Like, there's the scene where she wasn't picking up her feet, and it was like, "Oh, are you tired? Yeah. Is that why?"
But the mom just
says, so passive aggressive.
Yeah, the mom just says, "I want you to live the best that you can be," and then Lady Bird says, "Maybe this is the best."
Yeah.
The mom just kind of looks like, disappointed.
Well, it kind of just, I don't know, like, Lady Bird was just getting tired, and as she grows up more, she's just more open with her mom and just being like, lay the fuck off me. Like, let me just live.
Yeah, I think, once she goes off to college, she'll probably get maybe a better relationship with her mom, just because, they're not living together anymore, but yeah.
I know.
I was surprised how bad the relationship was. Like, for it to be
pretty toxic.
Yeah, no, it was really toxic. Like, and to me, I'm like, I mean, like, I know a lot of my friends. Like, I think I related it to more of my friends' moms than I for sure did my mom, because my mom is not like that. But I was just like, Jesus, this is just too much.
My mom might actually watch this, but I'll just say I know that moving out from home really helped our relationship. It was not so good when I was living at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's just, well, I don't know. I guess Lady Bird and her mom she had this just passive aggressive attitude, always trying to nitpick, I guess. Just rehash. I'm just saying everything we've already said. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Okay, well, we can have someone else have a turn, or
well, Garrett, wait.
Oh, you have to say, what'd you rate it?
Oh, I would give it a 7. No, let's give it an 8. And liked.
An 8 and a liked. Okay.
Yeah, let me type that out. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I usually go second, but one of our friends is not here, Johnny, the closer. So I'm gonna go last. So let's hear from Julie, because I think Julie is probably gonna relate the most to this movie.
Is it because I'm a female?
I think it's because you're a female, and you also have a Mexican punk brother.
Dude, that brother was cool.
And so is Dell.
Yeah, Dell is cool. So okay, I'll talk about how I feel about this movie. So I'm gonna say that this movie is like an American version of Slice of Life. This was for sure a fucking slice of life,
which is why I hated it.
And but like, I love Slice of Life. So I think that one thing that I'll say is that I think that this movie will be more enjoyable for people who've passed this age than for people who are at that age. I think because maybe it's not true, I'll hear from you guys, but I think that every single person, it doesn't matter, like, you know, like if you hated whatever characters, I think that there some level relate to at least a scene in this movie. And I think to do that, I think they did a really good job doing that, because like I think that it doesn't matter who you were in high school, or even if you were totally not that person at all, there was something that you could like it brought you back. And I think that it, like for me, it really did that. I think at the end of the day, we're following a young woman who's trying to awkwardly make her way through her senior year of high school. And I think at one point, like, I don't know, they do it in a way where it kind of makes me want to strangle her. Like, she's just like so unlikable throughout the entire movie. But at the same time, I could really I think I could relate so much to her selfishness. I think that's how I'll describe it. Because I remember, it's crazy looking back on it, but I just remember vividly just being like, there were times in my life when I was at that age where I was just so selfish. And I think that the way that they go about showing that is really well done. I think.
What are some examples of her selfishness?
She just doesn't give a shit about other people. Like she doesn't give a shit about her relationships with her best friend at one point, or her teachers, or like she just doesn't. It feels like she just doesn't value anything. You know what I mean? Like she literally, the only thing that she values is like, oh, I want to be this Northeastern girl. I want to be called Lady Bird. She doesn't respect her parents, her brother, her siblings, or her brother's girlfriend, like just anyone, like just no respect anywhere.
She'll be very friendly to everyone to their face, but she'll throw them under the bus behind their back and stuff.
She's a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly that's what I mean though. Like I can kind of relate to that. I don't think I was ever that bad, because there are moments in the movie where her lines and the dialogue that she did was just so scripted. It kind of took me out of the moment.
Yeah.
Her performance was amazing. Like she really she did an amazing job being an angsty, like selfish teenager. It was like, for me, it was a good movie in that sense. I don't think I can ever watch it again, just because that movie, it was a little bit difficult for me. There were scenes in that movie that just made me feel so insanely awkward, and it took me that awful age. And then like I said, it was like a little too scripted, so it's a little bit too ridiculous that I couldn't relate to some of the scenes. So it was intense. I do want to point out that Julie, the best friend in this movie, was the fucking star. I'm just kidding. She just has my name, so I have to say that.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, you're fucked. Come on, she was. Oh
no, I did
quirky fat friend. That's all she was.
Dude, but I related to her so much that she had for her math teacher.
I think
because that was me. That was me.
Mr. Nelson.
Stop! Don't say that out
You're gonna watch this. So, Julie,
He's gonna slide into your DMs.
like whatever. I'm 27 years old now.
I honestly thought that was going to be like a plot point, and then nothing came of that. And I was like, oh.
Well, I feel like it kind of was, because like she got hit with two pretty depressing moments at once. Like, one, Lady Bird stopped like hanging out with her, and two, she was really disappointed because she just realized that she can't have a relationship with her math teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So
I meant, the sense that like I thought the math teacher was gonna fuck her.
No. That's what made it realistic for me.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, this movie was very based in realism.
Yeah.
Because that never happened. You tried harder, Julie. You should have ruined that man's life.
You already said the name. No. But I do want to point out that I thought Danny Lucas Hedges, he was the gay boyfriend. I thought that whole scene was beautiful. Like the part where he comes up.
That's one of the best parts of the movie.
I think that's
that was a really good part.
Literally, the movie being like, please, like, I'm not ready, and her just like hugging him, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's such a good scene.
She was so mad at him leading up to it, and then I guess she kind of realized like it sucks more for him than it does for her.
Yeah, no, that's the point that pisses me off about Lady Bird though. Like there's so many times in this movie where she like you see her grow, but then she like fucking goes like down like the wrong path again, and she's just super selfish, and she fucks Kyle, who
So she's
loses
a
her.
teenager.
Yeah, I know, but like I feel like
Jared.
that's like the part that's like unrealistic to me, because teenagers still learn. Like just because you're a teenager doesn't mean you don't learn
Of
anything.
course they learn, but then people make the same mistakes over and over again.
She's a
That's
shitty
life.
teenager.
Yeah.
I think, Julie, you should say your favorite line that Kyle said from the movie.
Yeah. Oh, this is the line that I kept repeating. Like me and Gabe kept repeating back to each other. Like we still do. We're like, we're not going to use money anymore. I'm just going to barter. Dude, fuck Kyle.
man.
Like I just hate God.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
One of my favorite lines of the movie was when she first went to him on the car, and then like he said something, and she said, "I'll fucking kill your family." And then
Yeah.
he goes, what?
What? Oh no, I was just saying.
She's so awkward. Oh god, I forgot about
Because
that.
she
scene.
thought he was like super hardcore, and then no, he's not.
No, he's just like this weird rich.
I hated that.
Trying to
character so
not
much.
Yeah.
be rich.
Yes, like I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna barter. It's so stupid. Anyway, this movie probably had moments. I don't know if I want.
True.
It was more of moments. Yeah.
You're just
Keep
you
cutting
cut
it out.
in and out.
Okay. I'll repeat back. Oh, I think.
Nope.
So that's not getting better. You're going through a bad patch right now.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I think it's good now. It's all green.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to give this movie a 6. But I'm not going to say I had moments of boredom and overall enjoyed it. I think I just had moments of just pure awkwardness that enabled me from overall enjoying it. But at the same time, the awkwardness is what made it good. Anyway, I'll say a 6, and I think I liked it. I don't know. I'm in between a disliked and a liked. So, but I think I liked it.
Whoa!
Julie!
What are the other? What are the other?
I chose
Like 0.5.
Change
I
the score
chose
to
liked.
6.5.
I chose
6.5?
liked. I chose liked. You mother. I chose liked.
Okay, so let's hear from Jared, because Jared seems to have lots to say about this.
I
Oh,
know.
really? I keep repeating the same point over and over again.
That's true.
She's a teenager.
I'm just gonna say 7.5. Sorry, so just 7 this
Okay.
time. I liked it.
Thanks, Jared.
But I didn't. Okay, so I didn't super relate to her other than being weird in high school. I get that. Other than that,
I get that.
I didn't. I don't know. I just didn't really have the same experience as her. I liked it. I just liked seeing her growth, but it didn't really do too much for me. It was still a really well-made movie. I just enjoyed watching it, so I gave it a 7. I really don't have much more to say than that, though.
Okay. Let's hear from Tan the Man.
So I thought this movie was really, really boring. Obviously, I don't like slice of life, so this was pretty much as close as that, like Julie said, as you can get. And I just didn't really have a good time with it. Personally, I think it was a 4. Disliked it. Obviously, I'm not saying like the story's bad. It probably does have a pretty good grounding in reality, and obviously like all that stuff. I just don't find these kind of movies very enjoyable. I can't really recommend them because I myself would probably never really watch them, really in any circumstance, unless like I guess someone made me. I don't know, but
Like in this case.
like in this case, her character was super weird. I don't know. I feel like part of her character wasn't real. Like I guess there are those like really awkward people in high school that are like, yeah, I'm this now, refer to me as this, but I feel like in this day and age no one's ever gonna be like, yeah, my name is Lady Bird. Like no one's ever gonna say that shit anymore. I don't know. I thought some of this stuff was just so weird and out there that
So I do have
It was
to
also
ask you.
2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and oh god, that's like a weird.
Wait, the movie came out in 2002? I thought it was
No, it was
No,
based
it was
out of
based in-
2000.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, even then, that's still I guess that. Yeah, never mind.
I was 7.
Yeah,
Reference.
yeah. I don't know. I guess I don't have really that great of a knowledge about that. But to be fair, I don't know. It was just really weird that she was like, "Call me Lady Bird." I was just like, all I thought about when she said that was like the dog Lady Bird, and I was just like, I don't.
King of the Hill.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I was like, why do you want to be called Lady Bird?
I brought that up. I told her I was watching this movie.
I was just like, what?
I'm glad that at the end of the movie she grew out of that stupid fucking stage.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
it's a what are they called? What's the type of movie called?
Coming of age.
Coming of age movies. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jeff
Jeff's
loves.
favorite. Yeah, so you said that.
Jeff, you do love coming of age. Gurren Lagann.
I do love coming of age. Anyway, continue, Tanner. I'll wait till my turn.
Yeah. In general, yeah, I don't know.
Tanner,
It
I do
wasn't-
have to
Go ahead.
ask you. So is there not a part of this movie, like in the scenes of like high school, that you could not relate to personally? I am because I said I wasn't sure if you guys felt that way. I am kind of curious, like if you choose that or not.
I mean, I think everyone can kind of relate to wanting to be part of the cool kids, right? Like with her and Kyle and Jenna.
Yeah.
I don't remember her cool kid.
Yeah, I've watched it like last week, and it's not as fresh in my mind. I think his name was Jenna, but they were like the quote unquote like cooler kids or whatever, and she wanted to hang out with them and please them and do all that shit. So she lied about the house and all that stuff to make it seem like she was, wealthy. I get all that. But really, no, not really. I don't feel like I really relate to any of it that well. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't very rebellious or anything as a teenager, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask: does anyone know what happened? You know, whenever that one priest that they played the crying game, he cried first.
Yeah.
I think I might just be depressed or something.
Okay, I was wondering if it was depression because he went to the psych hospital.
The story
Maybe
was
suicidal
his.
thoughts.
The story that
Oh.
the teacher told was, or one of the students said, that was like his wife died or something.
No, his child died.
Yeah, his wife and his child died.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
because Catholic priests aren't supposed to have children or wives.
I think that was before his
Beforehand.
priestdom.
So he
That
tried
might
to
be-
find God.
Well,
We had a
happiness.
priest that had a child.
Yeah, we did, but he
married.
that was a weird exception because he was Methodist that married and then he became Catholic after, and
I
they
didn't
were
know
like,
that
"Yeah, it's
much.
fine." Yeah.
It's kind of weird that was okay.
Keep that man away.
Well, he
from
was Methodist
children.
before, so he's good.
So were you done, Tan?
Yeah, that was basically it. I said 4 in disliked. Put
Okay.
that down.
Can I add something real quick?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a fun little point. So I was thinking about like what you're saying, like what she was doing in high school. I thought about what was I doing my senior year of high school. Then I realized I was playing World of Warcraft.
It's like literally what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Hey, I can see what you're playing on Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Okay, so let's hear from Gabe.
That is his name.
Did you take offense to that, Jeff?
What?
Oh, okay, I thought I heard you scoff or something.
That was someone else.
So I will. Kind of been debating on kind of where to rank this. For sure, I'll call it disliked. I'm going between a 5 or a 6. I'll probably do 6 because as I'm thinking about it more, I'm kind of seeing some points that I can kind of relate to or at least understand a little better and appreciate. So this movie was quite realistic, but I will say that she was unrealistically quirky. We've already talked about it, or at least Tanner just brought it up.
Yeah.
But I thought she was like the whole movie was super realistic, but she was doing all these things that it just, in my opinion, wasn't realistic. Like having the name and I don't know. She
I
was
just
so
yeah,
many,
that name.
she
for
had
me.
so many weird things going on that to me kind of in some aspects ruined part of it. Another part which we've already kind of brought up is that either she was kind of selfish or she had a low attention span, and the whole time she was doing that and not learning anything, I was just like, this girl's not going to make it as an adult. She's going to be like jumping around the place. She's not going to be happy anywhere, is what I kind of felt like.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the movie, I kind of got a little better feeling about it. But then she, at the very end, doesn't she like go drinking and she has to get hospitalized? Like it doesn't end on the best note.
Yeah, she's like
Yeah.
alcohol poisoning or something.
Yeah, it doesn't end on the
like-
best note.
She does call her mom at the end and apologize.
yeah.
It's not the best note, but I think it's like a note like you're supposed to be like, nah, she's gonna be okay. She'll make it.
To be fair, that is kind of how college is too.
Yeah.
You go to
So
a party and
Drink
so
too
I
much.
kind of
I never ended up in the hospital. Did any of us ended up in hospitals while in college?
like it's college. We never did.
I mean, I don't think she needed to go to
Probably
the hospital. The
should've.
guy just freaked out.
Yeah. So I felt like, and we were talking about earlier, like, maybe she's just a dumb teenager, but I didn't feel like she was growing in that sense. Like her not being able to concentrate on one thing or being selfish, however you want to put it, that didn't make me have a warm, fuzzy feeling for her in the future after, at the end of the movie. One thing that I guess I'll just say it, Dad was the MVP of that movie. He was keeping everything together, I felt.
that I know he definitely did.
Yeah,
With-
I
even
agree.
I
with
think
his-
him
I mean,
putting the
that's-
letters in the whatever before when she left was
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I totally forgot about that. But he also helped her with financial aid.
yeah.
I'm sure they probably didn't talk about it, but he probably helped the mom even stay more sane, even though the mom was kind of not. She was kind of off her rocker in a lot of ways sometimes. And most importantly, he got his son a job, which I thought was really cool.
I really liked that.
He didn't get his
scene.
son the job. They just both applied for the same
I know,
job.
but like the
I
fact that they're going for the same one, he was okay with it, and he's like encouraging
Yeah.
his son. It was
Yeah,
a-
like the son was so scared, and like even Lady Bird looked scared. Not scared, but just what the fuck is going on kind of thing. But yeah, just him, like he put his hands on him and he was like go get it. It's okay.
Dude, that movie, as a super sad, I'm actually really glad you brought up that scene because I forgot about that entire part. That movie did a really good job of portraying like I don't know. So it's like this was set in 2002, so I feel like this was quite a bit after the .com bubble burst, but maybe not. Maybe it's like right then. But I think it really portrays like the super big issue that IT people have as they get older when they're their technology becomes more and more extinct and they just want to hire like cheap college kids, and they just have back then especially. I know from whenever I speak with people who used to work in IT back then, like that was a huge problem. I think it's probably a problem that's still here now, but like I think they did a really good job of subtly showing the scene of the economic time also.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually didn't really. I somewhat caught onto this during the movie, but I related to Lady Bird in a small sense of how she's not she wasn't happy with where she's living. She's I'm kind of, I like to call myself like a rebel in a sense. Like growing up, my grandparents owned a farm. I hated going out to the farm because I didn't like to get dirty and stuff, and I've always wanted to live in like a city and stuff. So I kind of understood her point of view from that perspective, wanting to, the grass is greener on the other side, even though it may not be actually.
Yeah, I think I had a hard time. I could see where you related to that, but I had a hard time with it because she lives in Sacramento. I've never heard anyone talk shit about Sacramento ever in my entire life before this movie.
Well, I think she's the kind of personality that wherever she was living, she would have hated it.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like she was influenced by like the Northeast, and because she said Northeast where they have culture. She felt like over in California, like this wasn't where she wanted to be because she wanted to be a writer. So there's no writers from California; they're all in the Northeast. So that's what what she thought was reality.
Yeah, she's dumb, but like.
Ooh.
I mean, I get she's a teenager. What's that? It's like
She's a teenager.
But that opening quote in the movie where anybody who talks about California hedonism has never spent a Christmas in Sacramento, and I'm just like, and like the whole time just shitting on Sacramento. I'm like, I've never it made me for a bit like look up like is Sacramento shitty to live in? And I'm like, oh no, it's like pretty okay. Like I don't know why. I don't know. It's confusing, but.
A lot of people shit on where they live, though. So
Yeah, exactly. I think
No,
it's
that was the whole thing.
I guess I think it's exactly what you
Yeah.
said, but I'm just surprised that she should unlike the entire California. I don't know. What
Well,
her
I mean,
obsession was
I
for the
guess
Northeast.
that part to me is kind of relatable because I think most people have the feeling of where they grew up at was like quote like boring, and they want to go somewhere else to have like for college or whatever they want to go from home, like leave where they're at and go like farther away from home and all that stuff for college, that is. So I feel like that's just like a typical teenager, like not liking
Yeah.
where they're at
Yeah.
because their parents are basically doing what, like commanding them around and all that shit.
Yeah, but mine was true.
I can
That's
attest for
different.
this. Yeah, like it's where Gabe and Garrett grew up was just not like it's.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it
I
wasn't.
No, I know, I know.
Listen here!
You're just kidding.
Nah,
So yeah, that was those are the main points I wanted to say, with the emphasis on the dad being the MVP.
Okay.
good old dad.
What's your score?
Yeah, what's your score?
I said 6 disliked.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Jeff?
All right, so first of all, I want to talk about how you guys were always talking about how she doesn't learn, she doesn't change, she's so selfish and everything. I agree partly, only because this movie took place over, let's say, the course of like
A year.
maybe a year. I mean, I don't think it was a full year because there was never Christmas. Oh no, wait, yeah,
That was Christmas.
Yeah,
What?
that was
Fuck, you're right.
Christmas.
I forgot it's California, so there's no snow, and I just anyway. So yeah, so let's say a year.
Not everywhere's Nebraska, Jeff. We've talked about this.
Where was I going with this?
He lost his
Turn
point because
Turn
I
off.
lost my train of thought.
I know.
Panic. Panic.
So okay, yeah. So it's the course of a year, and this girl, honest, like I feel like this movie's really, very realistic. This girl is straight from my high school. Like there's so many people in my high school that I knew that were like exactly like this girl. That wanted to be called by a different name. Like every trait that she had, I have seen when I was in high school.
Okay, but nicknames are different than Ladybird.
But I don't know, because I'm not sure.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, like a
I
lot of
had
girls.
that would demand to be called by different names.
Well, yeah, no, like same thing in mine, but they would be called like they go from like Brienne to fucking Katie or some shit. It wasn't like Ladybird, like.
I think he's just. I think Tanner's just trying to emphasize the unrealistic nature of her nickname that she chose.
Yeah, like I know that girls do that. They choose different nicknames. Like that.
Yeah, it's even like it's like Steven and Steve-O. You know what I mean? Like that's more realistic for me.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, like there's
Unless Jeff can
goth
give an example
people.
of
There's
a,
goth
like, a
kids are there like
crazy
I'm
thing.
Raven.
I know there were unrealistic nicknames in my school, and I'm pretty sure they were from like I don't know anime like
were they
anime girls.
were they theater kids? I feel like they were.
No,
theater
they were like
kids.
the weird anime girls. Like they
Right.
wouldn't be called Japanese names or something just as outlandish as Ladybird, only because it's not a common, English name. But anyway, so this isn't really relevant. This isn't really that big of a point. There are people from my high school that are very much like her. That's the point I was trying to get across. And so this movie felt very real to me. But it's over the course of a year, and you guys were all saying how she never learns, never changes. I think that's pretty wrong, actually. She reconciles with her friend Julie. And she changes that. She realizes what true friendship is, and she takes the picture with her to college. Realizing that really true friends matter. I don't have to be with the cool kids always. So, and then after that, besides that, she reconciles with her mom nearing the end of the movie. That's a big point. She's trying to talk to her at the end of the car,
And the theater
she
kid,
calls
too.
her. Yeah, and the theater kid, yeah, she accepts him. She realizes his situation. She sees it from his point of view, and then she accepts him, and she goes to his play and she supports him. That's more change. I think she changed a lot this movie. It was just in subtle ways, and it wasn't very pronounced, which is another big issue in this movie that I really didn't like. The big moments in the movie were not very pronounced. I thought. I don't think they executed big moments very well.
Mm.
Except, okay, so this is excluding the.
This
the
isn't a movie that
you
has
could,
big moments.
You could argue that they did that on purpose because that's
Yeah.
very much like real life.
That's true.
Not
That's
Hollywood like finishings and stuff.
But it just doesn't sit well with me. I feel as though there's a point to realism where it's good for the movie, and then there's a point where it's bad for the movie. And I feel as though this movie took it too far.
Yeah.
In that sense. The scene where she pulled out the notes that her mom was writing, I wanted that to be more impactful. To me, it didn't feel... I wanted her to like maybe, shed some tears or something, but she just kind of read them and then called Dad and was just like, okay, like that was it. Like there wasn't really much to it.
But
I wanted there to be more out of that.
Was a big event.
No, but that was like way after. That was after she got drunk, after she went to the church. That was way after.
Why'd she go to the... Yeah. No, I agree. And I'm sorry if I made it feel like she didn't grow at all. I guess it's just like I was surprised by some of the mistakes that she continued to make, or some of the choices that she continued to make, considering what she just learned in that lesson before.
Like, other than just like having fights with her family and then kind of having realizations during these fights, it just kind of seemed like the only time she changed is when she went to college. And then like, all of a sudden, because she was in college in New York, she was this different person. She dropped the Lady Bird name. She was able to like relate herself to her mom, right? Because they have the scene where she's driving and it's turning back from her and her mom. And it's like, it just kind of, to me, it seemed forced. It's like, oh, now she's different because she's in college and she got drunk one night. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff, actually, though. Like, you see signs of her growth, like, before college. Like, I think the Julie scene when they get back together and they're friends again is that's obviously, like, her, like, realizing, like, what she did. It took her so long, though. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Like...
And also the point whenever she was driving was before she left to college. Because she got a driver's license before she left to college.
Yeah,
so
that was her.
that was the point. Like whenever she started to mature, I guess. And
yeah, I think it was incremental changes.
Yeah,
her driving her car. Yeah.
This movie was definitely about the mother and daughter. The mother, I thought, had almost, I don't want to say almost just as big as a part in the movie as the daughter did, but I think the mother has been very overlooked by everyone here. I think
that's true.
The dynamic between them was very intricate. It's something that I can understand well, the passive aggressiveness and just their relationship. Yeah. You guys wanted her to like respect her more, like after certain realizations, where that's been their whole life. You can't just change after maybe one realization. It takes like we said earlier, it's incremental.
Where she would fight with her, and then they'd be like, "Oh, well, that looks." Because there was, I think,
they would just drop
for the dress.
Yeah. Where it would be like super.
That's their
super
relationship. That's cold. What they're stuck in. That routine.
Yeah, it was like the back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the mom is like essentially the villain of the movie, but
just like in real life.
But this isn't a Hollywood movie, right? She is just a person. She's not really a bad person. But
try to look at the movie from her point of view. What she wants is it's revealed nearing the end of the movie that
we're saying
ultimately she doesn't want her daughter to leave. She doesn't want her daughter to leave the Sacramento. She loves her daughter very much. She wants what's best for her. Right. She just wants her to be a better person, but she's doing it in the wrong ways, but she just doesn't realize it. So she as herself, is not trying to grow as a person, but needs to grow as a person. She doesn't realize that she is being passive aggressive.
Remember,
that's just the dynamic.
The mom also said she had an abusive mother, alcoholic mother.
Yeah.
So she's not drawing from the best of sources, but she's better than her mom, obviously. So
she wants to be there for her, like unlike her mom was.
Yeah.
So she's being almost overprotective because she wants to be there for her daughter.
The scene where she drives back around the airport and then tries to run back in to catch her. I thought that was a really good moment, and that was a really good way to show her true character. What her true feelings were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's your rating on it? I'm really curious.
So besides all the meaning behind the movie and everything, I thought the pacing was not very good at all. I thought the cinematography was, I'm not saying that word right. I thought that wasn't very good at all. There was a lot about the movie. It was a good story, but as a movie, I just did not like it. I thought it could have been done a lot better. The scripting, while it had some good points, it also had some really bad points. I'm going to give it a 4 and disliked.
Hell yeah, brother.
Whoa. I'm surprised by that, actually, Jeff.
Yeah, because you mostly had
Yeah,
positive.
I honestly
things to
thought I was
say.
going to like it more too, but as I was watching it, there was just times. I don't know,
I think
the entire movie, I was thinking this could have been done better. This pacing is so strange.
Well, their budget was small. I think it was like
Yeah,
more or
and
less
it's
an
a
indie
secret.
movie.
Well,
Yeah, it was
It
an
is
indie movie.
not even
can't-
more or less.
Jeff,
It's for sure an indie
I
movie.
can't, I can't give them like bonus points for having a low budget. The movie is what it is, and I'm basing it just off of that. I'm not,
So you're gonna downvote
I
Clerks because it was in black and white, Jeff?
I think
Yes.
Jeff would have liked it better if it was structured more as a Hollywood movie.
Probably.
He's calling you a normie, Jeff.
I think I probably would, if I'm being honest. I fucking hate indie
they
movies
tweak
most of
the story around so it has a little more climatic moments or finishes.
Yeah,
to
because
parts.
the moments that Jeff wants,
Or
the
emotion.
big moments. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because movies are supposed to make you feel emotion.
Yeah, but it was going for the realist point of there's a lot of these moments in your real life that are just you think it's going to be super emotional or whatever, but it's just kind of lackluster. Like nothing really.
Well, I think
That
the
big
letters
comes
should
from
be
it.
something.
It's funny you guys bring that
I
up.
thought
That
the letter
it's
should have been bigger.
like it could have been made like a mainstream movie, because Julie and I were on vacation and we ended up watching, what was that movie where it was kind of like had the girl that was obsessed with the dad, Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, yeah.
And literally while I was trying to think about this movie the last couple days, I couldn't get that movie out of my head because there were some parts of it that were a little similar,
Yeah.
and I could not remember this movie for the life of
That's
me.
like the perfect example, actually. I'm so glad you brought that up because, they're super. Have you guys ever seen Crazy Stupid Love?
No.
There's okay. I might make that one of my movies one day.
God.
But because it's like,
I'm
but
not
it's
showing up that week.
no, it's like it's a pretty solid movie.
I
And
thought it was good.
yeah, and Gabe didn't even finish watching it. So, but I do think it's funny because it's like the same. There's so many awkward, insanely awkward moments. It's just done
I don't
Hollywood
do
style.
awkward very well.
You only do awkward, Jared.
I can't watch it. It hurts me physically.
Because that's who you are.
I don't like thinking about myself.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna talk now.
You gotta close it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna close this up. So here are my initial notes. I'm just gonna read them off because I actually took a lot of notes for this one. So this was what I initially wrote down. I hate Lady Bird. Kyle so cringy. Hate the dialogue. So forced. I can relate. Holy moly. Brackets sarcasm.
Brackets.
Okay, so I thought maybe talking about this movie was going to make me appreciate it more, much like My Little Prince or The Little Prince, but no. It's still pretty shitty for me. I'm going to give it a 4 and a disliked.
It's like to hear.
I'm going to say the things that I related to was basically the arguing with the mother. Like I kind of said before, that's all I basically did with my mom in high school, is we just argued a lot. So that was really relatable for me. Other than that, movies like this and Juno, I watch it and I don't, I'm awkward, but I'm not quirky, right? And they're all quirky in this movie.
You're not.
All I did in high school was drink, play World of Warcraft, and listen to Slipknot. I really wasn't doing stuff like this even, and it's like I compare this movie to Juno because I just think they were really written the same way. If you know what I mean.
You're just really an indie movie, so they do some pacing and.
It's also another coming of age movie. So
yeah. I do like coming of age movies and stories. I like some, but there are some I don't, and maybe it is because it's through a girl's point of view that I just don't relate to it.
Why you gotta bring gender into this?
I'm just saying, because this is a story about a girl going through high school, and I was a boy going through high school.
Yeah, I kind of thought about that too, actually, because I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I just can't relate because it's like, a girl going through it.
So initially, I thought this movie was going to be a road trip movie to see this school, and that she jumps out of the car, and I thought that was going to be the end of the movie. Not that her dying, but that was like the finish of the movie, and I thought it was going to go back to the beginning of the road trip.
But she has a cast on the entire movie.
I thought.
No, I'm just saying.
Her as a teenager, her as a young adult, and then her as I thought it was going to be like a whole life movie.
No, I thought that basically the beginning of the movie where they they wake up, they're in the hotel. Oh, you don't have to make that bed. Oh, I know, it's just nice. Then they listen to the tape.
I thought that was the end of the movie.
I thought that was the end of the movie, and I thought then I thought I was going to cut back to the beginning of them starting the road trip.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really know I didn't go into it knowing a whole lot about the movie it was about. So I'll be honest, I did think it was a road trip movie too when I was going into it.
And indie movies, there are a lot of road trip indie movies.
So maybe I'm glad that wasn't.
So my favorite character was the mom. She was just I don't know how to describe it. I think she kind of seemed the most real. She was really trying to keep the family, the house together, and like she struggled doing it. And my favorite part was when when Lady Bird asked, she was like, "Do you like me?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I love you." And she's like, No, that's not what I'm asking. Do you like me? And the mom really didn't have an answer, if I'm remembering correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, dude, I forgot about that movie. Yeah, I can see why you would relate to that stuff.
Yeah, because you can love people, but you can still not like them. Mm-hmm. And
well, yeah, you're supposed to always love family life, but that doesn't mean you have to unconditionally love them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna give it a 4 and a dislike. Most of my complaints were already said. It was an interesting movie, but just not for me. That's not the kind of story I like. You
reminded me of something else. So I'm going to give Lady Bird quite a bit of credit too for her dealing with losing her. She was so obsessed with losing her virginity, just so obsessed with it. And I do want to point out that I think that's another part that I could totally relate to.
No, and I could relate to that too. Yeah, because
okay, yeah, I guess
going up to it, you thought it was gonna be the greatest thing ever, and then the first time I had sex, it was just kind of like, that's it.
It's fucking
this is a warm hole.
Yeah. And I'm drunk in a bathroom, and it's really awkward and hard to get in because we didn't know how to do it, and it was just not what you think it was going to be.
No, and it's so funny because I remember all my friends and that's something we all were just so obsessed, we just needed, we talked about it all the time, it was the only thing we talk about, and
Nice.
And no, we didn't have any. We
'Cause I
didn't
know
do
you're
anything.
friends, and that's nice.
Shut up. But like, I think they did, and like, whenever I guess, like, to me, like, that was such a cringy moment when she's like, "We're both deflowered." Like, who would have thought?
Oh
you know,
my god!
A good 10
Oh.
years later, we're deflowered. And,
Oh my
like,
god, no! And when Carl's like, "What do you mean?" and she's like, "Oh, well, like we took each
Why
other."
the fuck would he say that?
Like
That is
he
the
was just,
dumbest-
but he was so
Why would you say that
oblivious.
to her?
Like, I
He's
fucking,
so, yeah,
I
fucking oblivious.
hated
That pissed me
Kyle.
off. I was like, you fucking idiot.
he was like trying to be like this cool
he's
fucking
gonna get hit by
anarchy
a
kid.
bus and be like, well, why'd the bus hit me?
No, yeah, like, oh, I hated that guy, and like, oh, he's at the party, but he's beside the pool and like writing in his book.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
know he's only doing that because he wants to be seen as like that fucking kid.
Yeah.
Such
No,
a
I hated
douche.
that guy. I hated that guy, and so like I could see like how like but because like that's the like to me like that scene would have been absolutely perfect if like she took it like a step.
Hold on, Julie, say it
Well,
again.
absolutely
Yeah.
perfect if what?
Yeah, that scene would have been absolutely perfect if she wouldn't have done the awkward like deflowered thing.
No, I don't know.
Because-
That's just she's a weird
No.
chick, and she's a chick that
No,
would have
because-
said that.
No, but like I guess it's like the wording for me. Like I think she could have said something that was similar, but it would like it that's one of the scenes that took me out of it because like I said, I was so I'm like yes,
Yeah,
I remember
Julie.
this moment. I remember this moment in my life, and then she was just too. So, I don't know. It was. I think they did it well, but then I just have like critiques on like the actual like end scene that ended up happening. So.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone have any other thoughts? No? Okay. So we're coming back around. That was the end of the cycle.
What did you end up? What did you score it?
Oh, a 4 and a disliked.
Okay. I forgot.
Yes, Mike's gonna pick a fistful of dollars, right?
Yes. No, so my first pick is a lost episode. The recording fucked up. Same with Jeff's. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Is because everyone hated Mike's movie and he didn't want.
So,
he didn't want it
okay,
to get
my
out.
first pick was The Good, Bad, the Ugly, and I went into it thinking that I don't know if anyone's going to like this movie. I hope they do. I think it's really good. But this movie, the next movie, next week, is going to be Looper. It's one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite movies that's recent, I would say, or made recently. Yeah, I can talk about it more, why I like it and why I picked
How
it.
many of you guys have seen Looper?
I've never seen Looper.
I have.
Have not.
Right.
So yeah, I think
I
just
also have.
We can.
you have
Amazon
not, Jeff.
Prime.
I have. It's a good movie.
Okay.
We can't Amazon Prime it.
Amazon
So
Prime.
sponsor us.
Yes,
Yes,
Samsung.
please. We watched Lady Bird on your show as well, on
Yes.
your service as well.
Pay us money to pay you money.
Is it on Amazon Prime? I watched it in other ways.
Yes, I watched it on the website Putlocker.
Whoa!
Jesus, Mike.
And edited it out.
I'm kidding.
That
I'm
was,
kidding. I'm kidding. Of course.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in this movie? Oh my god,
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes.
I
No.
am
It's
excited.
so yeah. It's just a really.
John McClane.
It's a really good. Okay. It's a really good
Bruce
sci-fi
Willis?
movie. Yeah. It's a
John
really.
McClane.
It's a
Yeah,
really
I know,
good.
that's-
It's a really good sci-fi movie.
And John
in the
McClane.
fact that they don't follow tropes that other sci-fi movies follow. And we can get more into that after we've all seen it. Jeff, you made a noise. We'll talk about it next week. Jeff, you're an idiot. You clearly you haven't thought about it in any way, or you would know what I'm talking about, Jeff. So let's rewatch it. We'll come back next week, and I'll prove your little noises, little ignorant noises that you're making me mad.
Oh.
This This is why the first episode is a lost episode.
Okay,
Yeah, he's
so
literally trying to kill people.
The first episode was me doing that. No, I actually like the first movie. Never mind.
okay. So, anyways, yeah, sponsor us, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Put Locker, whatever website you want to throw money at us.
Yeah.
You know, if you liked what you heard, comment, rate, subscribe, share it. We're on Facebook. I think we're on Instagram, Twitter.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the Neon
We are.
Nightcast channel is. So technically, yeah, you are, Jeff, friend of channel. So anyways, we'll see you next week.
Stars of the show.
Watch Looper. Say bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.